We see it all over social media. You need protein and you need this protein powder to get it in. You want to build muscle, you want to become fitter, faster, stronger, and have more definition, but let me guess, you're overwhelmed and confused. I get it. I'm going to clear up the confusion for you in this episode. I'm going to tell you if you actually need protein powder, depending on the scenario, the different types of protein powders, how to know if you're getting a good protein powder, and some brands I recommend. I'm so excited to clear up this confusion on this topic, and there will be lots of information shared, so get something to take notes with and let's jump in. Do you wish you could look like you train as much as you do? Are you sick of scouring the internet for sports nutrition tips only to find information tailored to men? Do you wish there was a simple solution to fueling your body for your activity level? Are you ready to find freedom with food? It is possible to have balance between fueling your body for your sport and for enjoyment, and it's not as complicated as you may think. Can we say hello, food freedom? There's a way to have it all and eat your cake too, and I'm going to show you how. Hey, I'm Kristen, a former multi-sport athlete, a sports dietitian, personal trainer, and Jesus lover. In this podcast, you will find practical, sustainable fueling tips for female athletes that will set you free from diet culture, an ever-changing set of nutrition rules, under-fueling, and underperforming. You'll learn how to put together a fueling plan that works for you, that doesn't require all the rules, tracking every morsel of food you consume, letting food consume your every thought, with Jesus at the center of it all. If you're ready to find a sustainable nutrition plan that works for you with your active lifestyle and is tailored to your unique physiology, break free from diet culture, and finally feel comfortable in your own skin, this podcast is for you. Whip up that smoothie, lace up your shoes, and let's jump in. So we are talking all about protein powders today, and there's so much confusion around protein powders. Do you need them? Which is good? How do you know if they're good? When do you actually need them? We're going to cover all of that today. So just think of a protein powder as it is a supplement. It is not an actual food. It is truly a supplement, and that is how it's categorized, which means that it is just meant to supplement your diet. It is not meant to replace a meal or replace some other food. So we are going at this from a food first perspective, with supplements being just that, a supplement just meant to supplement your diet for where you are falling short and where you can't get in what you need from real food. So the short answer to the question, do you need a protein powder to build muscle? The short answer is actually no, you don't. There are so many other foods that contain protein that are going to give you a lot of other nutrients that you need that are going to be involved in muscle building than just a protein powder. Unfortunately, supplement manufacturers are really good at marketing. That is their job. And so they want to sell you on protein powders because that's how they make money. So I don't think that protein powders are necessarily bad, but I don't think that you need to rely solely on protein powders to get in your protein for the day, or the bulk of your protein for the day. So let's talk about the different types of protein powders. And there's lots of them out there. So first there's whey. And whey is really going to be a quick digesting protein. Casein is going to be more of a slow digesting protein. Both of those are coming from dairy. So if you have problems with dairy, let's say you are allergic to dairy, you don't want to use either of those. Now, you may be lactose intolerant, and you can still have those as long as you are getting the lactose-free version. There are several parts of dairy that you could have an issue with, and if you have an issue with a certain part of that dairy, you wouldn't know that without getting tested, then you wouldn't want to use either whey or casein. But if you don't have any issues, then by all means, go ahead and use those. Next up would be collagen. Collagen is generally going to be coming from beef. There's also marine collagen, and there also are vegetarian and vegan options for collagen as well. Now, collagen is going to be more so used for your hair, your skin, your nails, and your tendons. It's great if you have an injury, and it can actually help with repairing that injury. But if you have arthritis, probably none of you listening to this have arthritis, but if you have arthritis, there's a certain type of collagen type 2 is going to help with arthritis. There's also vegan options of protein powders, and these are going to most commonly be pea protein, brown rice protein, and soy protein. So what we're going to do today is focus more so on whey protein because that is more the most common protein powder that's available and what most people are using. So I'm going to name off some instances on when you would want a protein powder. So when you would want a protein powder is if you just finished a workout and you just don't have access to any other food, but you need a protein. So females ideally want to eat within 30 minutes of finishing their workout because that's going to enhance their muscle building capabilities. So your muscles are going to be most like a sponge within that 30-minute time frame after finishing your workout. So you really want to make sure that you're getting in some food. You need both protein and you need carbohydrates. And so a protein powder, if you don't have access to a refrigerator or any type of cooler or whatever, a protein powder is very easy because you could just keep the protein powder on hand and find a source of water or have a water bottle with you, mix the two together, and there you go. Now, if you are, let's say, a vegetarian or a vegan, or maybe you're not even a vegetarian or vegan, you do eat meat, but you just simply can't get in enough protein, a protein powder would be a good option for you to fill in the gaps. However, you don't want to replace meals or snacks of real food with a protein powder. And I see that a lot, especially among vegetarians and vegans, because it's just easier. You know, when you're a vegetarian or you're a vegan, it's harder to get in enough protein. And so you wind up just going for what's easy. And that's the same thing with, I see this among a lot of younger female athletes where a protein powder is just easy, or there's just so much marketing on social media where, you know, influencers are using a certain protein powder. And so everybody thinks, oh, well, I should be using that. And that's what they use. Now, that is not the truth. But if you have noticed that you just simply can't get in enough protein, you know what your protein needs are, you're not getting enough, you've tried and you've tried and you tried with real food, then a protein powder would be a good option for you. Now, the last scenario would be if you are in classes all day or you have meetings or work or whatever, and you just don't have access to real food or you can't eat real food, that would be a time where you can use a protein powder, something that you can just drink really easily. Okay. Now, let's talk about some good alternatives to protein powders because there are lots of them. Okay. So first up would be Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is really high in protein. It's really versatile. It could be eaten on its own, or you can use it in a smoothie or a parfait or something like that. Same thing with milk, mixing together milk and Greek yogurt. That's going to give you everything you need, and it's going to give you a combination of quick digesting and slow digesting proteins, so whey and casein. Same thing with cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is a really good source of protein, and it can be used in so many different foods now. I don't know if you've gone on Pinterest, but there are tons and tons of recipes with cottage cheese. I actually had cottage cheese in my eggs this morning to boost the protein. It's a great option. Next up is eggs. Eggs are a complete source of protein. It's the highest bioavailable source of protein, and this is what the gold standard is in terms of proteins. Eggs are a great source of protein, and I would definitely recommend incorporating them in your diet if you can tolerate them. Next up is just eating meat. And if you're not a vegetarian or vegan, eating meat is a great source of protein. Plus, it's going to give you iron and B vitamins and lots of other minerals that you need. Same thing with poultry, fish, seafood. All really good sources of protein plus other nutrients that you need. If you are a vegetarian or you are a vegan, or even if you're not, other options would be legumes, nuts and seeds, quinoa, tofu, tempeh, edamame, also cheese, peanut butter, almond butter, other nut butters, all great options for protein. Now, you are going to need a little bit more of them to get enough protein, but they do contain protein, and you can certainly get enough protein from incorporating those into your diet. So the ways that you would want to do that is making sure that you're getting protein at each of your meals and each of your snacks. So let's talk about what you want to look for in a good whey protein powder. One is you want to look at the label, and I actually do have a label right here that I can show you if you're watching the video. All you want to do is look at the number of grams in the serving size, and then just go down to the protein grams and make sure that it's not much of a difference. You really don't want it to be more than a 10-gram difference. So for example, if the serving size says 30 grams, and then the grams of protein says 15 grams, that's half of your protein that's gone. So that means they're using some other type of filler. Ideally, it would be 30 grams in the serving size and 28 to 29 grams of protein in the actual product. You really want to look for a whey isolate, not a concentrate or blends, because those aren't going to have as much protein or the quick digesting protein that you're looking for. You want to make sure that your product is NSF certified or NSF certified for sport. And you also want to make sure that it is third-party tested. So there are lots of different labs that will third-party test, but you will see on the website for the product if it is third-party tested, and it should give you who is third-party testing it and a link to it. You can also sign up for consumerlab.org, and they will also give you a link to those different products that have been third-party tested. The downside is you do have to pay for Consumer Lab. If you can find a grass-fed whey protein, that is going to be preferred because grass-fed cows are going to have just a different nutritional profile than your typical feedlot cows. So they're going to be higher in omega-3s as opposed to omega-6 fatty acids. Generally, they're going to have more nutrients. So stick with grass-fed if you can get that. You also want to make sure that you're looking out for red flag words. So things like ripped or extreme energy or weight loss or fat loss, anything where it's promising unrealistic results. And then supplements with ingredients ending in OL, DIOL, or STENE. Those are all ingredients that could be potentially contaminated with things that you don't want in your supplement, like prescription drugs or even drugs that you are illegal, banned substances, especially if you are an athlete that is going to get tested, drug tested. You want to make sure that your product is absolutely clean. The last thing is to try and find some protein powders that do not contain artificial sweeteners. If you have stevia or monk fruit, that is completely fine, but you really don't want aspartame or sucralose, which is Splenda, and that can lessen the number of healthy bacteria in your gut. So not good for you. So let me tell you a few good options for protein powders. One would be Thorne whey protein powder. Next is Transparent Labs whey protein powder. Theirs is grass-fed, Thorne's is not. And then if you are a vegetarian or vegan, Vega Sport is a good option, or Vega Sport. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. But either one of those are great options for you, and I have had all three, and I enjoy all three. I will say, if you're wondering, I personally rarely use protein powders. I actually get all my protein from food, but I'm probably in a little bit of a different situation than some people where I am at home most of the time, or I am, working from home where I can take things with me if I'm running out and I don't have to be gone for 8 hours a day. So like I said, if you are in that situation and you just need something really quick and convenient and you can't get in real food, a protein powder is going to be a good option for you. Otherwise, just stick with real food and stick with those options that I gave you. So if you liked this episode, please just take an extra minute to leave me a review. I really, really appreciate it if you do. That helps me to boost my rankings so that I could basically help more people just like you and deliver good, solid, science-based information that is related to females that want to get fitter, stronger, faster, and get more definition and all those things. So please just take a minute to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, and I'd love to see your feedback. If you have any topics that you want me to cover, please put those in there. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you, encouraged you, or changed you, I would love for you to leave me a review and share it with a girlfriend who will find it helpful or inspiring. That is the best way you can thank me and help me share my knowledge so I can help more people just like you. I'm so thankful that you spent this time with me today, and I'd love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group, Female Sports Nutrition, or send me a DM on Instagram, or hop on over to my website, EliteNutritionPerformance.com. I'll see you back here next week.